of faith is disturbing.
Believe it.
What's going on, Geeks? So this is episode 406 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name's Cody Armour. I'm here with Jonathan Nichols.
What's up?
And this week, we're geeking out about Pokemon, I guess. I mean, I don't know anymore. Star Wars. And cats taking over the world. Sure.
Yeah, they already have it.
Yeah. They don't already. I don't know if you've noticed, like in that trailer we're going to talk about later, they are kind of just all over the streets already. They're starting to multiply, at least here in Fort Smith.
Yep, exactly.
Fort Smith, Arkansas. There are cats everywhere.
And if you have a cat, you basically just serve them. They're the masters.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I love the there's a meme and it was like dogs and it's like, oh, the humans gave me food. They must be God. And then its cat is like, oh, they gave me food. I must be God.
That's about right.
Yeah. I think that's probably what cats really believe. Before we get into all the things we've been geeking out about, I went to a Viking festival. It was really fun. Got to meet a fan of Geeks Under Grace there, which was really cool. Terrible with names, but always like crazy to be recognized. And it's so funny because I always never assume that it's Geeks Under Grace at this point. Like, do I know you from somewhere? I'm like, oh yeah, I work here. I go to church here. I'm like, I go to especially at the Viking Festival. I'm like, I go to the Renaissance Festival here, and like, no, Geeks Under Grace. And I'm like, hi, yeah, cool. So really neat. I did a convention. There's a convention in Fort Smith that's like a pop culture con thing, and we did a panel there. And so she remembered me from there. Which was
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Viking Festival was in Hot Springs, Arkansas, which is a smaller town. And I thought the festival would be pretty small. It was, but it was much larger than I thought. If you imagine like a rodeo arena, it was basically like the inside of the arena where the horses and stuff would be. I've done a lot of rodeos. It's the easy way I can explain it. It's literally like one of those like types of event centers. And they filled it with tents. And all the tents were in these lanes, and so they're really like closely packed. But it was all really cool, like all handmade, Viking jewelry. There was furs, and there was a blacksmith there actively smithing stuff. A friend of ours, she actually got to smith her own knife.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So, yeah, it was really cool. I didn't expect like a whole bunch. I thought we would stay there maybe 2 or 3 hours, and we stayed there till after close. So
yeah, that's really
we
cool.
looked around like there's nobody here. It's over. We need to go home now. It was fun.
I think it's really cool that Arkansas is starting to get enough Renaissance / like medieval / Viking festivals that you basically can just do them all year round. It's like,
yeah, for sure. There was actually a Viking festival a week prior. It was closer to Little Rock, which is pretty far away from where I live. And they did that the week prior. And then that same venue holds like an actual Renaissance fair that they've just built last year. I think it was their first year. And then again in Hot Springs, where this was at, it's a state fairground situation, but they actually hold their own Renaissance fair, which is just a pop-up tent situation. They said 80 acres, and I thought that was pretty crazy. Like 80 acres is not a small fair. So I don't know how much of that is utilized or if they just spread out a lot with the tents and stuff. The guy said 80 acres, and I was like, that's crazy. I've never been to that one. But yeah, like you said, yeah, you can kind of do stuff year round.
Yeah. Which actually surprises me that like the Castle of Muskogee just doesn't do it year round.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's a culture. Like so a lot of those performers will do a circuit, almost kind of like a Comic-Con in a lot of ways. If you notice, like Comic-Cons usually have celebrity circuits. And so a lot of the performers and a lot of the shops will actually hold a circuit as well. And so they will travel from fair to fair. And I'm sure that capitalizes on their money because they can get new faces in at these different locations. I'm sure they probably would make less as sellers, merchants, if they were in the same spot year round. But yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
one thing that's cool about the castle at Muskogee though is you should check some of it out. Is like they'll do different events throughout the year. It's like a fireworks shop during July, which is whatever. But they do a Halloween event, and so for a month it's like all Halloween haunted houses and stuff. Um, and then during Thanksgiving they do the Boar's Head Feast,
Hmm.
and then which is just it's a really big dinner and a show thing. It's really cool. They do Christmas stuff, Christmas lights all throughout, and then they do a New Year's party. And so really the only time the castle's not being utilized is January to May, and I think that is them like taking that time to ready for the season.
Yeah. So I missed the Halloween one, and
I've never been, and we had free tickets.
oh man, I had some friends that went this year, and they said it was amazing. They loved it. I took my wife and I took my parents, my little brother to the Christmas one, and that was really
Okay,
cool.
yeah.
So you basically have you been to it before?
I haven't done the Christmas. The only things I've done are the Boar's Head Feast and then the New Year's party.
Okay. So the Christmas one, you actually drive through the entire area, like the entire village.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's all decorated, and it's like thousands of lights, but thousands of like blow up Christmas decorations and like plastic decorations. And then you end up in the parking lot directly in front of the castle. And then they have like animals there you can ride, and they've got all sorts of stuff. And then
That's cool.
you go into the castle, and they've got a bunch of attractions, and then they have like a giant shop that's just all Christmas stuff.
Okay.
So
That's neat.
yeah.
The owner is a really cool guy. I got to meet him during the New Year's Eve party. It was really kind of like the New Year's Eve party. It almost felt like we were crashing a business party. It was everyone, like the whole staff was there. And then it was us and a few other people, but it felt very much like, oh, this is for like the staff, the cast members, and we're just kind of here. But that's that's what the owner was doing on New Year's Eve, was partying at the New Year's party, and it was really cool. But he was saying basically like he doesn't make he doesn't do it for the money. I'm sure he makes tons of money off of it. But he was like, if you guys ever like want anything, like let me know. He was like, I want to make this good for you guys. He was like, I kind of do it for fun. He's like, I'm retired, so I don't need any of the money. He's like, I just want people to enjoy it because I enjoy it.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, good mindset to have.
Well, I can't wait for the season to start. We're getting close.
Yeah, coming up soon. We can get into the games we've been playing. I really haven't been playing anything besides Grand Theft Auto Online, so go for it.
Jump back into the Sea of Thieves a little bit. But decided to hang up the sword and my guns and to end my plundering days and just be a fisherman. So I've been sailing the 7 seas fishing.
Fishing? Okay. Is the fishing in Sea of Thieves good?
It's pretty good. They have a whole like guild you can work for. And so like you get like rare fish. So you get like quests, and it's like, hey, sail to this one spot and fish these like 4 fish out of this hole. And then you go sell them. They're worth a lot of money. And then if you end up leveling up, you can be an emissary for them. And then you can level that up, and you get like a special mission, which right now is a giant megalodon. It's an ancient megalodon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's technically always in the water, but you can't see it unless you just stumble upon it. But if you're level 5 emissary, you can see it, so you can go straight to it. I'm not there yet. It's a lot of time and grinding, but
yeah,
it's a peaceful
That's
life.
cool though. Yeah. I love that you're just doing the fisherman thing.
Yeah.
I always love that about like there's a lot of video games. Final Fantasy 15 had it, and Zelda had it. I think in the Twilight Princess era. But it's like the whole world's ending, but I could take some time to fish.
Yep.
So good. Sea of Thieves is a little bit different, but yeah, people are just like completely pirating. I'm just gonna fish for a bit.
Yeah, we were watching at one point. Me and my friend, we were sitting there fishing, and we like looked over, and then there's like 4 ships in a battle, Pirates of the Caribbean style. And they're like blowing each other up, and like you could hear them in game yelling. And
So funny.
we're just like sitting there reeling in a fish, fighting it. It was like, they're not bothering us. We'll leave them alone. It's always fun when you're fishing. You look over, see a kraken eating a ship.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You're like, so glad I'm going after this.
Yep. At one
This
point,
fish.
we had a ship we thought was gonna chase us because like all the rare items in that game glow, including the fish. And so we're like, oh, they probably think we're full of treasure, but actually our entire deck on our brigantine was just full of fish.
Fish.
So it's just all rare fish. So it looks like we had a lot of treasure, but if they would have ran up to us to try to loot us, it would just been fish. But, yeah.
That's so funny. That's awesome. Yeah, GTA Online for me has just been trying to get my first million, failing to save, and just spending more money. I'm getting close to getting the first million. We'll get there. And then I just want to do cool stuff with cars. That's all the game is for me. Grand Theft Auto is just Need for Speed.
Yep.
That's all I need out of it. Need for Speed, but I can get out of my car and take someone else's when I like it. We'll get into the gaming news. I'll let you take it. Even though you're not super into the Pokemon stuff, it did seem.
No, I don't know anything about Pokemon, but
It's fair. I used to be all about Pokemon. Anymore, I have Scarlet. I don't even know which one I have. I think I have Violet downloaded. I have a Pokemon game downloaded on Switch, and we'll get into how I feel about Pokemon games, modern Pokemon games, but haven't been able to play it. It's not a good game.
Well, Steam tops 40 million concurrent players, which is really big.
Crazy, yeah.
So let's see. Looks like the number of users actively in game jumped from 12. Oh, this is Monster Hunter Wilds. Okay, so I misread that. So Monster Hunter Wilds keeps increasing its current in-game number. Looks like they went from 12.5 million to 12.8 million, which is pretty incredible.
Okay.
As of so on launch day, Monster Hunter Wilds launched on Friday, February 28th. Steam logged 40 million players, which the previous record was like 39.9 million. So that's
has
pretty
been broken
incredible.
almost every single month since May 2024.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I didn't know they were doing so well. You said there's a bunch of like rumors, and you can mention them. We didn't have anything concrete, any new links, but there's just some like leaks that you saw about like a headset, and then Half-Life 3.
At this point, Half-Life 3 is like a meme, but
yeah, for sure.
Apparently, they've been playtesting it, and
this game that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not supposed to exist, but some people have broke NDA allegedly, and so basically they're working on polishing the playtest version they played in the playtest was pretty much finished. There's some physics that hadn't been implemented yet, but they said it's pretty amazing. That's all they would break on the NDA. And then apparently on top of that, people have found patents for Valve's new Valve Index. And I believe from what I read on the patent, it's wireless. So it doesn't have to have all the sensors, but I think that's optional. And then the current rumor is it's going to be listed at $1,200. And they're actually
insane.
And they're selling at a loss because they want people to actually buy it. So
better be Nerve Gear from Sword Art Online at that point.
Yeah.
But I want to feel everything.
Apparently it comes packed with tons of games that have already been in development and they're finished. They've just been waiting to release them for the headset. So
they say. Allegedly.
So they say. Allegedly. But
cool. And then 2 Pokemon trailers. We got Pokemon ZA, which is Pokemon Legends ZA specifically. And that is Pokemon Legends was the Arceus. I don't know if you remember. Pokemon Legends Arceus was like there were no towns. There were very few towns, and it was very like primitive Pokemon battling and stuff. So this is a really weird sequel because it looks like the mechanics are similar, but it takes place pretty modern day, for what I can tell. But it takes place in one city. So yeah, it's just one massive city. You can climb buildings and like Assassin's Creed parkour around stuff for some reason with your Pokemon. I don't understand it. It looks cool, I guess. My biggest issue with this and Scarlet and Violet that have come out a few years back is just that it looks like the graphics don't look like they've changed since Wii. I saw people saying they look like they changed since GameCube, and I was like, that's a little harsh. I would say Wii era.
Yeah.
But truly, like the textures are rough, and I don't quite understand why. And then the best part is like you're watching all this stuff, and it says not actual gameplay.
Ooh.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me! Like it already looks not great.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good.
So I don't know. I'm having a hard time. Like Pal World in a lot of ways looks better than the modern Pokemon games. And I'm like, Pal World is not like, it's not graphically that beautiful.
Yeah, speaking of, I was going to see if it was on sale so I could recommend Pal World instead, but it's not on sale.
Free on Game Pass, I believe. Or it was.
Fair.
I don't know if it still is.
I bet it is.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm excited for it, but I would have been, it's a little too late. I think Pokemon's kind of missed their mark on their demographic. I think they were trying to be a kids game that adults could play if you really wanted to get like into the, like the breeding and the like IV training and all of these things. And like, I didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to play a kids game. But Pokemon Champions is like old school N64 Pokemon Stadium. It is just battle mechanics. And you can you'll take your Pokemon from your Pokemon Bank or Pokemon Home, I think is what they call it now. And Pokemon Home is you can go from games, I think from the 3DS and put them on there, as well as the new Switch Pokemon games. And so you can take a Pokemon from a lot of your different generations and you can battle them in this game. And what I thought was really cool with that was it's mobile. And we'll see how good it looks. It looks really good. It looks graphically better than Pokemon ZA, and I don't understand because it's like a mobile game. It looks so nice. Who knows if that's actual gameplay? It probably isn't. But that's kind of what I think this game could do really well with, is like if it is graphically beautiful, I think that would be a really cool way to do Pokemon tournaments going forward. You can throw out Pokemon Champions and like Pokemon tournaments in like real life, EA, EA esports.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would be pretty down to watch like really good Pokemon players battle it out in a Pokemon Stadium-esque, like where it's just graphically really intense and you get to watch the Pokemon moves and like really cool graphical designs and things. So I think in that sense it could be cool, and it's not just mobile; it's Switch as well. But I think that's a really neat concept and a really cool way to play a lot of these things. Like I could see, does Yu-Gi-Oh have a tabletop online card game? I could see it doing that. I know they don't have something like this, but if you had like these really graphically intense like animations for like card games like Yu-Gi-Oh or like Pokemon battles like this, where usually it's really simple attacks, I think they could really make esports interesting in ways that it isn't now.
Yeah, I agree. I think so I was trying to read more on this. Yeah, I think it'd be cool if you could implement like the actual Pokemon cards into that, because I felt like for me, like if you combine the cards and the esport, I think you would kind of get best of both worlds. Because I feel like if it's only digital, there might be a disconnect from people who've collected cards for like 20 years. And then they have their specialized decks to play with. And then you get like, if you could combine those, you would get people who only want to play the side of it, electronic side of it for the esports. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think that would make it interesting. Like Which I guess at that point it would be kind of like the Yu-Gi-Oh, where you're like throwing cards down and it does stuff. But
Yeah. I do wonder, is Pokemon Go in Pokemon Home? So that's pretty cool. You can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go into Pokemon Home.
that's cool.
So I know like that's a really big thing that a lot of people do anymore. Is like they're not really into Pokemon. They're still in Pokemon Go. I have a manager at the place that I work at. Is still super into Pokemon. Pokemon Go. So that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. So that means you could probably transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go into Pokemon like Scarlet and stuff too.
That's really
neat.
cool.
I love that interconnectivity of phone and console. I don't know. They just graphically need to figure themselves out. I'm sure that's part of it is like they want to have the consistency of a mobile game and their Switch game and making the Pokemon look like so they're not totally different looking.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of lose like that was so cool about Pokemon Stadium was you had these sprites on your Pokemon Red and Blue cartridge
Mhm.
and you could plug it into the controller and you put in Pokemon Stadium and now they're in 3D and they look so much better and it was so like it's like, whoa, I'm actually playing with the Pokemon now. This is so cool. Maybe they need to bring that back a little bit. But
My ongoing theory with the Power World lawsuit is that they knew these were coming down the pipeline and they were like, hey, Power World looks better. It plays better.
yeah.
They're getting our audience.
It's almost too bad the Pokemon's not just like, you know what, you just use it, you just gotta call it a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And we'll put Pokemon in it. But they have guns. Yeah, it's fine. They would both make so much money. I want Pokemon tie-ins. Pokemon and Digimon. I want Digimon tie-ins with Power World. I would love that so much. It'd be such a slap in the face to Pokemon.
Yeah.
I saw a thing that was he goes, Digimon is so much better than Pokemon. And someone was like, oh yeah? Name 50 Digimon. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're right.
That's funny.
Cool. Oh, go ahead.
Apparently there is a Digimon mod for Power World called Omega Mon.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's how it's pronounced, but that was my best take.
We can move on. We'll get into the movies. Omegamon. Power World Nexus. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's so fun. We'll get into the movies that we've been watching. You seen any movies this week?
No new movies.
Okay. I saw Severance on there. I didn't know if it was a movie or a TV show.
TV show, yeah.
Okay. Shows what I know. I did watch a movie. I actually watched it a couple weeks ago. Forgot to talk about it. Kraven the Hunter. It was forgettable.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, it's so funny because what's his name? Johnson. Kraven the Hunter cast. I really like him as an actor. Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he does a really good job in most things that he does. I think in this, he just like the writing was a bit rough. I really want to know, like, I want to be in the writing rooms or in the just discussion rooms for these movies, the Sony villainverse.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, do they think the movies are going to do well? I feel bad because Aaron Taylor Johnson, again, really good actor, and like he thought the movie was great. He was advertising it when he was advertising it, and he was like, "Yeah, I think it's got everything that you want out of a superhero movie," and he's not wrong that it has everything you get out of a superhero movie. Like, it was trope upon trope upon trope. The villain is literally like this nerdy dude who gets dissed, so he becomes a villain and becomes cool. And like, it's not ashamed of it. He literally is like, you probably don't recognize me. New haircut. And I'm just like, oh man.
It sounds like a self-insert by the writer of the script.
Yeah. It's crazy how like phoned in it is, I think is the best way to put it. You don't care about any of the characters. I think like Russell Crowe plays a villain in his own right. He's the father of Sergey of Kraven. And you like don't like him, but they're trying to like bring that relationship back together. It's like a broken family relationship. It's so strange. And then they talk about how he kills everybody, right? Because Kraven is a villain. And this lady, I can't remember her name. She's like, she goes, karma might catch up with you sometime. And he's like, it never will. I'm too fast. It was just like I felt like it was Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. Nothing goes over my head. I'd catch it. Yeah. My reflexes are too fast. I just couldn't believe some of the dialogue in this movie. I just don't her name is Calypso. I should remember that. It's not a good movie. It's a great way to end the Sody villainverse. I do believe it is over now. They're talking about rebooting it, which just sell it to Marvel already, please. I've heard rumors that they're planning to reboot the villainverse and put it in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man universe, and they bring Andrew Garfield back, but he'll only like be cameos in a universe that they're working on.
Wow.
Yeah. And like the connection's not enough, guys. Like you need to make better movies. I think the only real good movie out of all of them was the first Venom movie, which was tropey and just fun because of the tropes. And I think it was early enough in the like movie world that, hero fights villain version of himself worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. He gets bitten by a lion. This is all in the trailers, isn't spoilery. And if it is, you're fine. I promise. But he gets bitten by, they're hunting a lion. The lion hunts him and like bites him open, Kraven. And then his dad shot at the lion. And so some of the blood from the lion drips into Kraven. And Calypso, this is a spoiler, gives him a magic like potion. It's the magic potion fuses with the lion blood. And that's how Kraven got his superpowers.
Okay.
Radioactive lion.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and I think that was a bummer too, is like the whole concept of Kraven is that he's the ultimate hunter. That he likes the thrill of the hunt. And in this movie, like the writers weren't going to be smart enough to like write that. I think like the perfect game would be really hard to recreate with this budget. I think you really need some really like it just takes some really good writing to really get that right. In this, it was more like he was out for revenge. It was just mad at the world, and so he was hunting bad guys, very Punisher style, rather than like the thrill of the hunt kind of thing. Movie makes no sense. You should watch it.
Yeah, I need to. It feels like it.
It's rough. I still haven't watched Madam Web. So that's next on the list. If I watch Madam Web, I've watched all of the Spider-Verse stuff.
I have avoided all of it.
Did you see Morbius? You haven't seen Morbius?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No.
I was really hopeful for Morbius.
I've heard it's a morbid good time, but I just haven't watched it yet.
Morbid time. That's, Radioactive Bat. They all, I don't understand.
I haven't watched Venom either. I've skipped those.
Venom 1 was good. Venom 2, I enjoyed in the same way. It was just a bit rushed. It's a very fast movie, but it was kind of nice because it wasn't great. And so the time, like, you were kind of relieved that it was only like an hour and 10 minutes long.
Okay. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it didn't need to be any longer. Uh, but Venom, I mean, the guy that plays Eddie, what's his name? Tom, not Holland, Hardy,
Already, yeah.
does a really good job playing both characters, I think.
Hmm.
The third one was also kind of weird pacing. The first one I think is the best out of all three of them for sure. Morbius, I don't know if you haven't watched it, like that's one of those movies where it was so long that it was like you didn't need to be this long. The whole movie is so ridiculous.
I
Matt
love the
Smith.
fact. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Matt Smith literally plays the Doctor, but as a bad guy. I mean, it's like the same persona.
That's fun.
And I was like, oh, maybe Matt Smith can't act. Maybe he's just like a, one trick pony. And then he's in Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. And he's amazing in it.
Yeah. I heard Morbius. Well, okay, let me back up. Sorry, brain splitting. So it became a meme.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that the meme became so popular that Sony's like, hey, people love this film. Let's
remember this.
re-release it in theaters. And then it didn't do anything. Like, no one would watch it.
They're like, oh, it's meme. They're talking about it again. It's time. Maybe it was just needed more time in the theater. No.
Yeah, basically what I heard was it was so bad, it was good. Like, it was just good time because awful.
I'm curious about Madam Web. Madam Web, I'm excited to watch because I loved the Flash movie, because of how terrible it was. And so the Flash, the director said, oh, the CGI is bad on purpose because it's supposed to be the perspective of Barry Allen. And in this, I've seen, I don't know if I've seen a direct quote, but the movie looks like it takes place in the early 2000s. Or it doesn't take place. It does take place in the early 2000s. And then like the way that it's filmed apparently looks like a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. And so I've been told that like, oh yeah, it looks like it's an outdated movie on purpose to give the same like old school nostalgic vibes. And I'm like, no, you just made a bad movie because you don't know how to. Like the Spider-Man villain in Madam Web looks like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit with like a reskin. So
yeah, I avoided that movie. I don't regret not watching it. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, that one, even Dakota was like, yeah, I don't know what we're doing. I just was here for a paycheck.
Yeah.
They need to give it all back to Marvel. And then just have their Spider-Verse movie, because those are great. The animated Miles Morales Spider-Verse movies.
Didn't
you watch either of those?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Just none of the live action stuff. I skipped those.
Yeah.
Didn't they say in the interview for Madam Web, it was like the lead, she was like, this is like a superhero movie for your boyfriend or something like that? And everyone was like, what does that even mean? Like,
for your boyfriend. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. If you have to watch it, I believe it's on Netflix. Madam Web is. So just need to do that. Kraven the Hunter didn't have an end credit scene. What's up with that, yo? You didn't think we were gonna stay around to the end of the movie to see what's next?
I think they were ready. They were like, we're done with this. Let's end this.
Yeah. I think they should just give all the rights back to Marvel, let Marvel do their thing in the MCU. And not that Marvel's doing great things right now, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Daredevil comes out tomorrow. Yesterday for the listeners, on Wednesday. I'm very excited for that. Could be a new chapter. From what I've read too, we were talking about this before the podcast. I believe Kevin Feige was not in charge of the MCU for a bit. He was like producer or head of like all Marvel stuff, and has gone back to being the head producer for the movies and TV. And from what I understand, it's a big reason that Daredevil got such a scrapping that it did. They completely scrapped. They had 4 episodes completely filmed, and we're working on them. And he watched them and he scrapped all of them and said start again. And so I'm hopeful that it's kind of like a turning point. I think it's one of the first things that Kevin Feige's got his hands on again.
I've read some early reviews, and they seem to really like it. They say
Yeah.
that it feels like an actual season 4. They said that there's definitely some flaws, but they said it was better than season 2 and 3 of the
Okay.
Netflix. So we'll
Wow.
see. That's
I
high
loved all of
praise.
Daredevil, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. I'm really interested. The only thing I'm worried about was I think I saw a hallway scene. IGN released what
Mhm.
could be a hallway scene, and there was a strobe effect. And the strobe effect, if it doesn't have a reason, we're really annoyed because it's really hard to watch the strobe effect while they're fighting.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think I know which clip you're talking about.
Yeah, I was
But-
like, this is jarring. I hope this isn't it. Or like they have a reason. There better be a reason that light's flashing like that because it looks awful. But I'm very excited for Daredevil. I will be watching that next week. We'll get into the movie news then. Speaking of people taking over or retiring in this case, Kathleen Kennedy is retiring from Star Wars.
Woo!
Yeah. Sorry, Kennedy, but you gave me Acolyte, and so I don't like your work. You didn't see Acolyte, did you?
I did.
Did you?
Mhm.
It wasn't bad, but I think anytime you go, hey, don't watch any Star Wars things, and then make this Star Wars thing, it's not gonna be great.
Nope.
Yeah.
The villain I really liked.
Mhm.
I think there's about 10 minutes of that show that's like the best part of the entire series, and it includes him
Yeah.
doing his villain things. I thought was really great.
He was very human.
Yeah.
You take the mask
Yeah.
off and you're like, oh, this dude's just been, here the whole time. Very mischievous. It was really good.
Mhm.
Yeah. He was.
And then the rest of it's like I don't remember it. I remember him, and I remember the action scenes with him in it. But other than that, I don't remember anything else.
Yeah.
So
I believe, was she there for the trilogy? 4, 5, and or 7, 8, 9? I thought
Yeah.
so. So we have that to blame. We have Book of Boba Fett to blame on her. But not Mandalorian was good for the first season or 2.
Mhm. I like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Third season was murky.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andor is under her rule, and Andor was great.
Yeah, I feel like Andor, she just kind of let them do what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
And it was like, and
that's the thing is I feel like the ones that did really good were the ones that she was like, I can trust you to just run this.
She was definitely a part of the whole planning process for 7, 8, and 9, where they're like, we're gonna make a trilogy. We're not gonna have a plan. We're gonna do what George Lucas did and write it as we go. And yeah.
You guys aren't George
So-
Lucas. You can't.
Yeah.
I think
And
we were talking about who could take
then-
over, and go ahead. Yeah, finish that thought, and then
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, she's definitely responsible for the 180s that kept happening. So, like, they were like, "Oh, Force Awakens is too much like A New Hope," and so then you get The Last Jedi, which was like complete opposite of everything else. And
Yeah.
then they're like, "Well, it's too different." And then they're like, "Okay, let's rewrite the film we're currently shooting." And then you get The Rise of Skywalker, which you get Rey Palpatine, because she can't just be someone random. It has to be,
has to be someone. Yeah, the
So-
the trilogy was really bad. Yeah, I would love for someone to have a plan. I think Star Wars has kind of tried to do that with Mandalorian a little bit, Ahsoka, and that's all mostly Filoni, as I understand it. And so I would be totally down for Filoni to just run things, honestly. Or Favreau. I think Favreau would do a great job too.
Yeah, I agree.
Both of them just really know the content. I mean, Filoni wrote most of the content, so totally. I think he would.
Yeah, and I think too, Filoni has enough imagination to oversee a full universe and trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I I think that's a big problem is they wanted to get people who weren't Star Wars fans to make Star Wars content. And I
Yeah.
think they did that because they were afraid that it would muddy the content and be too geared towards the fandom and not to a broader audience. But the problem is the fandom is who watches the stuff. And if you don't
Yeah.
capture their imagination and their intrigue, then you're not going to make money. Like Star Wars toys are not selling. And that's what made George Lucas billions of dollars.
Well, the
Or
toys
made
and stuff.
yeah.
It's crazy to think too. Like, it's not like they're short on Star Wars fans. There are a lot of Star Wars fans out there. Like, make it for the Star Wars fans, and we'll give you money. It's so weird to. And then I also hate the idea of, oh, well, the lead the lead character was a woman, and so that's why I did bad. And it's like that's not why I did bad. It was bad writing. I think Rogue One is a really good example.
Yeah, so that's what's crazy is like there's so many big franchises like Aliens, like there's women protagonists in all these great pieces of medium and no one cares. It's just when you have really bad writing, you just have bad writing, you have bad characters. And they don't they gotta earn stuff, right? So George Lucas used the hero's journey to kind of piece together A New Hope. And when they got to Rey, they just kind of got rid of the hero's journey, which like every piece of content's basically the hero's journey to some degree.
Yeah.
And so they like tried to just skip their way through those story beats. And then we're like, okay, so now she can use the Force, but she's never even used the Force before. She has no training. So no guidance at all. So now she can use the Force. Yeah. And then she's like,
doing stuff that no one else can.
Yeah. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. And that was in The Force Awakens. Like she picks up a lightsaber, fights Kylo Ren, and then she's never picked up a lightsaber before. And they're like, well, she trained with her staff. We didn't see that as an audience.
Yeah.
She just has a staff. She hits people with it, but you don't see her training with it, so she doesn't earn the story beats. And so it's like, it's just bad writing. It doesn't matter that it's Rey. If it was Finn going through those same story beats, it wouldn't make sense.
And also, like, I know that they wanted to give her like that lightsaber and stuff, but if she had a staff lightsaber, it would have been pretty cool.
That's what's funny is that was the original plan.
Oh, that would have been so cool. The gold lightsaber, tiny little daggers at the end. Pop, pop, pop.
What was Colin Trevor? Colin Trevor. He did the Jurassic World movie. Sorry.
Okay.
He was supposed to direct the third one in the series. And Colin Trevorrow. So I believe it was called Duel of Fates. I believe.
Duel of Fates, I believe, is the song for episode 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up. Yeah, Duel of Fates. Yep. So it was written in 2016. It got scrapped. So they basically fired him because of the backlash of The Last Jedi. So it was a direct sequel. Yeah, Trevorrow. Actually, if you read the script, which it's actually, the story beats are online, it's pretty good. It does continue The Last Jedi, but she does get a lightsaber staff. I think she loses an arm, pretty early in the movie. So she gets an arm cut off, and but it ends on Coruscant. Okay. I get in debates on how to pronounce it all the time, so it makes me self-conscious.
Weird Al says Coruscant, so that's what I go with.
But yeah, so it ends on that planet. So it's like this huge battle at the Jedi Temple, the original one.
Neat.
But like it's like the Empire had taken it over, and then the First Order takes it over.
See, if they would have just stuck with a plan.
Finn and Rose they end up leading. They end up finding a bunch of like people hiding on the underground layers of the city planet,
Mm-hmm.
and then like basically rebuild the rebellion there, while Rey is taking on Kylo Ren, and then like Luke is haunting Kylo Ren as a Force ghost, and
That's
so it's a
cool.
continuation of the scene from The Last Jedi, and he's basically like coaching him, and so trying to like pull him back to the light side the whole time. There's some other cool stuff that happens,
Yeah, we
but
don't get
yeah.
to see that in Force Ghost. That would be fun. Just have a Force Ghost, just
Mm.
literally with him like, "Hey, no, you should go back to the light." Like, just stop, Uncle or grandfather? No, Uncle, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Be
it's
Uncle,
Uncle. Yeah, yeah.
Uncle
The
Luke.
final battle takes place in Mortis, which was introduced. It's a mystical force realm that was featured in the Clone Wars, so it tied back to the Clone Wars saga.
Would've been
And
neat.
then
So many things.
it ends on the planet Modesta, which they end up creating a new safe haven for children that have the Force, and it will lead into a new generation of Jedi. Much more complete film than
Yeah,
what we
for
got.
sure. All right, we should move on. But all that to say, Kathleen Kennedy will be retiring in 2025, and Star Wars may go back to being Star Wars, which would be cool. Yeah, let the nerds run Star Wars, please. The other part of news story, we have the Shrek 5 trailer, and I didn't actually think that Shrek looked that bad. I know a lot of people hate it. Um, it's Shrek, so I don't really care too much. Although I would say that Shrek 1 was probably one of the most influential movies to millennials
Yep.
of all time. But I did think it was really funny that Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, they like tweeted the Shrek 5 movies. It was like take notes, and it's a picture of the original Sonic design and how bad it was. Uh,
I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks more modern, updated.
yeah.
But you know,
I'm surprised. Like Shrek started getting really kiddish towards the last couple movies, and this looks more child friendly. But as far as the humor, I think it like there's a curse word in the
there is
trailer, and I was like,
there
oh,
is
are
in
we going
fact.
back to form? Yeah, they're talking about the cast, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, so it's so weird because it got more kid friendly, but I think it had more to do with ratings, like. The first Shrek movie is still a PG movie. I just think it would be rated PG-13 if it was rated today.
Yep.
And so they just stuck with the PG rating, and the PG rating was like, as that matured, forced them to like kind of make their behavior a little more tame, I guess. So I'd
So
be down with this PG-13.
I just noticed something hilarious.
What?
When he's scrolling through the images on the
Mhm.
mirror, all the photos are from the original version of Shrek. They're not the updated model.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So it makes me wonder how different his face model actually is. It could just be the higher quality facial animations that are throwing people off. But if
It
you
could
just,
be.
yeah,
I did see a thing, something about his nose is a different shape, and then a big part of it is how much smoother the lines are. There's a lot more contrast in the old animation style, and so his face just looks a little softer because there's less contrast. But and then
Yeah.
something about his nose, I don't know. But yeah, I think PG-13 would be really good for it. I think that would really make it like Shrek again, because Shrek lost us. I was definitely watching Shrek as a kid though. And thinking, the little Duloc song was just the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Keep all feet off the grass.
Shrek is the reason why we are the way we are
Yeah.
as a society.
Yes, it is Shrek's fault. Uh, we all have layers. We all peel in the sun. Grow little white hairs. Yeah, Shrek was so good. Kids these days will never know. Old school Shrek.
Yeah.
Good music. And if I remember correctly, I believe I'll make it a little churchy for the GUG fam. Working on Shrek was a punishment given to people who were working on Prince of Egypt. If they didn't hit deadlines, they would be forced to go work on Shrek instead.
Yep.
Which is hilarious. For those who don't know, Prince of Egypt is about, the story of Moses. Right? Yeah.
Yep. It's an amazing film. I believe
Very Disney looking.
Spielberg, I don't know if he directed Prince of Egypt, but he helped start no, wait. I might be misquoting. Maybe he started Pixar. I was gonna say I thought he started
Started by Brenda
DreamWorks.
Chapman and Steve Hickner. Who started DreamWorks? DreamWorks Studios.
So I was thinking he was involved. Yeah. Okay, I was right.
Steven
So it
Spielberg.
was Spielberg. Yep. Maybe Pixar was Apple with Steve Jobs.
Wait, I'm not sure.
But yeah, so anyway.
Yeah, it's super funny to me that it was a punishment, and it ended up being very influential. But yeah, we'll go to TV stuff, and you were watching Severance. I don't know what Severance is.
It's hard to explain. I'm only 2 episodes in.
Okay.
But it's a relatively new show. I think they have a few seasons out. It's on Apple TV.
Wow.
Basically, the premise is that these people work in a data sorting department in a super secretive, mysterious business that no one knows anything else about. And they do a severance process on your brain that separates your work life and your personal life. So when you go to work and you clock in, you basically go to this elevator, and then when you're going to the elevator, there's like a trigger, and it triggers the thing in your brain, and so you can't remember anything outside of work, and so it's like having a second life, and so it's like a whole totally different person. A lot of them have different personalities in work because they don't like, they basically have to rebuild themselves like they're newborn when they start working here, and so but there's a mystery going on, and so like second episode in, the main character is starting to like get involved in this mystery, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty intriguing because again, like, he doesn't know anything. He can't remember anything from work. He can't remember anything outside of work. So as this mystery starts unfolding in front of him, he's like basically trying to cope with it.
Okay.
But anyway, it's interesting. It's really good.
Sounds cool. That's awesome. I don't have Apple TV, but there's some good stuff that's been coming out of Apple TV, so I'm gonna have to get Disney Plus so I can watch. I don't have Disney Plus anymore. Getting a specific for Daredevil. You gotta have these subscription services on rotation to.
Same. Because we got new phones a few months ago, that Apple's like, hey, here's a 3-month trial of Apple TV. So
oh, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, we'll get into the final news story of the day, which is nyaight. I'm not sure. I know Nyan, I think, is like a Japanese way of saying meow. Nyan. But Knights of the Living Cat is a new anime dropping. I really couldn't find any good TV news, but I think this makes up for anything lacking. It is an anime about cats, and if you touch the cat, you become a cat. The cats are devious, The world is dominated by cats. A virus which turns anyone who touches a cat into a cat has spread into a worldwide nandemic. Cats rub against people, turning them into cats. Can humanity fight their urge to pet cats to survive this cat-ridden world? The momentously catful comic is getting a TV anime in 2025.
Oh boy.
And it looks hilarious. It is in this very like edgy, dark anime art style. The lines are very rigid. It looks very intense, but it's literally just cats and like these very I wish I could think of like an anime that they look like, but they're so edgy. They're like, oh, we gotta not touch the cats. Oh, they're so adorable. I gotta play with the cat, and it's so silly.
It honestly reminds me of like mid to late 90s anime.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
They're like fighting the cats with like catnip and stuff.
Yeah, cat toys. They have cat toys they're running around with.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So 2025. I'm sold. I don't know. I'm watching this anime for sure.
Yeah.
It looks so dumb. It's so good in the best way. Night of the Living Cat. And that is our news for today. Are you kicking out about anything else this week?
I'm not.
No, same. I mean, I talked about the Viking Festival. That was the biggest thing. So we will end the podcast there then. Jonathan, where can they find you at?
I can be found on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under @DifferentLensMedia.
You can always find me on Instagram @Cody Armour. My Viking pictures are there. Let's check it out. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.